I mean, they,
think that
yeah,
means
they
guaranteed.
are, yeah, structurally, everything is good. I mean, they did probably above and beyond what it's supposed to be. And you can tell the owner's really proud of her work because she's the one that built it. But
Yeah,
she is kind of probably asking way too much for the property.
it sounds
So
like it.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
so I mean the neighbor she's like talking about all her like you know the status of the neighbors and all that stuff. So he's very emotionally attached to the place. So when it comes to like even negotiating something, you're suggesting finding a buyer for it first.
All right, so let me give you, so here's how my brain works.
Okay.
It's a nightmare in between my ears, I'll tell you the truth. But what I like to do is I like to create like simple filters to
Yeah.
quickly make decisions, right? Is this a deal? Is this not a deal, right? And so for what you're talking about, okay, so let me simplify this. I've run everything through one filter. Is it cash or creative? Now, with a cash deal, we're asking ourselves, how much money can I make within about 2 to 6 months?
Yeah.
What's my return? Okay, that's the question that we're asking. That's for cash. And
Yeah.
by the way, guys, when I say cash, you could be using hard money. You're using cash to close. Okay, it doesn't matter where it comes from. Now, with creative, we're not asking how much can we make in 2 to 6 months anymore. We're asking, when can I get my money back? How soon can I get my money back? That's the question that we're asking. So they want to sell this property for $7 million, correct?
Yes. And she's open to seller financing.
Oh, okay, great. On
Yeah.
horrible terms, right? So she
Yeah,
wants
exactly.
$4 million in cash for a seller finance deal. What's the cash flow look like on this property?
Short term, I mean, there's a lot of potential, but I don't even know how to run that number.
Yeah,
But
you don't even want to waste your time.
yeah, exactly.
There's zero, I mean, regardless of the cash flow, how long is it going to take me to get $1.4 million back?
Oh yeah, long time.
Plus, let's say I'm a whale and I've got a ton of cash, and I'm like, I'll buy something, hold it, and let it sit empty. I don't care. I'm a real estate gangster, right? Well, even then, like, am I going to be able to make my money back if we flip it when it's a special quote unquote property? When we're doing our wholesale deals, we're looking for homogenous types of houses. Why? Because there's a huge market for it. We're looking for people who want to get into family homes because there's thousands and thousands of families bidding on these properties, which means what? We have higher liquidity. We're in and we're out. We have a guaranteed return. When I see a special house, I'm like, next. You know what? It looks sexy, and that's what really people get drawn to with real estate, the sexy houses. But give me something that's beat up that's 500K, and like you got me, you're getting me excited. You know what I mean? Like, because I know I'm gonna make money on it. Does that make sense, Jason?
Yes, totally.
So, like, those types of deals, I look at them and I'm just like, it doesn't make any sense. Like when I'm looking at creative, it's cash flow. When I'm looking at a cash deal, it's return, right? So unless you can think of a very clever way to create cash flow on that property, I don't know, maybe you know somebody who, it's a horse property and you can do some excursions and it's a business plan and whatever. But $1.4 million is a ton of cash to come up with. But if this was a multifamily deal, $1.4 million is nothing, right? Now we're talking about a serious return that we could have a completely different conversation about, and I could find the money for you.
Exactly.
But I would just tell them, thanks so much. Do you have any other properties you want to sell? That would be my answer to that.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, totally. I mean, I think it really helps me to just yeah filter to move on, and I think because somebody had the I guess when someone presents the opportunity to you, you want to be able to perform for that
Yeah.
person. So I'm just kind of like trying to brainstorm every possible way
Yeah, and so like
to
with most investors, cash on cash return is what they're looking at. And
yeah,
basically, cash on cash return is a simple way of saying, how fast am I going to get my money back? Right.
yeah,
And it like again, it really depends. For me, my cash on cash return in in California can be pretty low. Like I said, I'll break even in my first year and I don't care because I'm getting tax depreciation, right? I'm a full-time investor. I am getting principal pay down. So I'm paying that note down over time, which means that I'm actually putting money into an ATM machine. And then I'm getting appreciation, which means the value of my home is going to go up. And if I don't know if you've looked at the California market recently, but it's insane. It's only going to get crazier. So for me,
Yeah,
it's worth it to take
yeah,
some of my money and just buy these creative deals, right? So it all depends on your buyer. But a quick thing for you, Jason, like if an investor brings me something in California, I'll just tell them, tell me what it, give me the terms. I don't even need to pull out a spreadsheet. If it's 800K or below, 5% interest or below, I know it's probably going to cash flow.
yeah.
If it doesn't fit those, then I'm like, I'm not even going to look at it.
And then
Cool.
another question just for disposition, you know, I kind of want to just be able to move on and present any opportunity that I have to somebody. Do you have a point person I can reach out to kind of, yeah, if I have something I can just present to them and
For
be able to
now,
just keep moving?
yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. For now, hit me up in Circle. I will
Okay,
reply.
okay,
If I don't reply that day, it's not personal, guys. My schedule is always I'm like booked solid on my days. I'm always doing something. Okay. But I will get back to you for sure. Sometimes it's right before these meetings because I'm logging on to Circle to get into this meeting. But what I will have for you guys is a form, and it will basically have, is this a cash deal or a creative deal? And then you'll click on that button and it'll take you to a form. It'll pull your information into our CRM so that we can track the transaction and also communicate with you as to where we are in that transaction. So I'll let you guys know when that happens. Cool.
great. Appreciate it.
Jason, I appreciate you, bro. You've been consistent in these meetings. Thanks for coming.
Hey, I'm gonna get you a deal.
Oh yeah,
We'll,
baby. Let's
we'll,
go.
we'll be working together.
Hey, dude, I'll fly
I'm,
down to SoCal and we'll have some margaritas and tacos if that happens.
oh yeah, I'm right by Santa Barbara, so we'll tee it up over here.
Yeah, dude, I got team members down there. We'll hang out.
Yeah, sounds good.
Vismal is, am I saying that right? Vismal?
Yeah, yes. How are you?
Dude, I'm amazing. How are you?
Good, good. Quick question, Patrick. I joined like, 5 minutes late. So the slides that you were showing earlier, like, is it possible for you like to share that with the group, like on the Circle K, the Circle app? Um,
Um, okay, so hold on. Are you referring to this? Let me
uh,
see. Gary's messing with my screen right now. Shows up late, messes with
yes,
my screen. This right here?
yep,
Yeah, I'm gonna put the link right now inside of the chat.
okay,
This is a drive that you guys have access to. But
okay.
I'm gonna be coming up with a free course for you guys soon. 100% free.
Oh,
I'm gonna
thank you.
take a ridiculous amount of time to put it together, but there you go.
And also,
Um,
Patrick, I'm in Florida. Do you guys like know anybody like any I'm looking to buy in Florida. I live in Broward County. Anybody like in this group that's in Florida that you know of or that you can refer me to?
yeah, I'm buying basically in the Sun Belt.
Okay, got it.
Last year I was only thinking about buying in California, but because of the success that we've been fortunate enough to have inside of our team, like now I'm buying in the Sun Belt and I'm JVing with some pretty heavy hitters. But yeah, man, I mean, look, if Gary and I can't help you, we're immediately going to send you to somebody who can. We're super plugged in.
Okay.
Cool.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, man. We want you guys to make as much money as possible in this group.
Yes.
And I was not screwing with your screen. But
Guys,
got a cutie behind it.
guys, you guys are lucky enough to have the legendary deal architect Gary Shevitz in the house. Give him some love in the chat, guys. Gary's in Montana right now hanging out with Pace, and I've got to be honest with you, I'm extremely jealous.
We'll get over it.
I'm just curious, where's your cowboy hat, dude?
I don't like wearing hats, man. I don't even like wearing the sub-two hats.
Isn't a cowboy hat like the Montana thing to do?
I guess. I mean, that's why Pace has been walking around with one lately. But he hasn't
I've
got
been to
a
Montana.
sub-two thing on the cowboy
Yeah.
hat.
I love it. Okay, let's go to another question. Rez Estevez. Ooh, I like the way that just rolls off the tongue. Rez Estevez. What's up?
Um, I'm starting at this. I love everybody and I'm eating everything up like fat steak.
Love
So
steak.
to serious. So I understand, Patrick, that you're buying in the Sun Belt. Does that include my neck of the woods in Middle Tennessee? And you answered my earlier question about wanting to see the requirements criteria slide. So thank you for that.
It depends. And by the way, that's going to be my answer for most questions.
Okay, so if I find something that, and I'm learning, and I will learn, and I'll present things in correct format with the information that's required to be actionable.
Yep.
So if I want to share something, suggest I should do so through Circle.
Yeah, 100%. And here's what I'll say, guys.
If you could define better, like the types of asset classes, the
I would say single family
class.
homes. Single family homes are
Understood.
your best bet. Or multifamily. Single
How many
family homes
units in multifamily?
I mean, whatever you can handle. I would, so if you're new to
Really?
this, Rez, I would be honest, I would stick to single family just to get the hang of it. Because if you start calling on single families and really negotiating single families and underwriting single families, you're going to get the terminology, you're going to get the lingo, and you're going to be a lot more comfortable. Because just so you guys know, when you start talking to multifamily owners and agents who are representing multifamily owners, they know that generally speaking, they're a little bit more advanced. So you kind of
Yes.
feel comfortable in those conversations. Now, it's a double-edged sword. They may be more advanced, but they're also way more open to creative solutions to acquiring properties. So, however, if I were you, I would stick to single family homes. And, being that all said, guys, like if Pace didn't have this group, well, number one, we wouldn't even be here, but I wouldn't even tell people to focus on creative, because right now, Pace's community is the largest group of buyers of creative finance deals. So bringing it to us, if we don't want to take it down or if we can't help you with it, we're immediately going to have somebody that can. So you guys are always welcome to reach out.
May I add a follow-on question and then I'll get off for the next person?
Of course, you are so polite. Yes,
Well, I want to be a considerate partner in all of this.
I appreciate it.
So, my desire downstream is to get into multifamily and related commercial. So for me, subject to learning and experience, okay, I don't want to make it sound like I know my future. But so starting out in single family would, for me, be the learning experience, getting some credibility by showing a couple of examples of deals, and hopefully having references for people who have worked with me on deals to say, yeah, it went well. Yeah, we enjoyed it. So how many rounds of single family deals do you think, given that desired trajectory, do you feel would be like a goodish start? Because I'm not looking to stay in single family long-term, subject to further learning and development.
Do you need money now, Rez?
Sure. I never say no to money, within boundaries.
Well, do you need it? I mean, wholesaling single family is still the best way to get started. And, Pace I think, got a little carried away when he did an elephant challenge with multifamily. I think he realized that he was just really excited about it at the time. So he did it and then realized that what we're doing in the elephant challenge is really getting people the basics to give you the foundational skills necessary to succeed in the business. And wholesaling does that really well. You have to
Okay.
learn the lingo, you have to learn how to underwrite, you have to learn how to comp. You train your eyes, and then it's a graduating scale, right? Stepping up. And some people never do multifamily. They're happy doing single family. Pace had what, $100-200 million portfolio in single family before he started. Like, oh, you should be buying 250 unit deals. Okay, well, he didn't start pursuing multifamily right away. He was doing single family. So it's a great way to start. It's a great way to learn the fundamentals. And coming here and working with us, we'll learn you some fundamentals, okay?
Yeah,
Right.
and so just to button this up, Rez, you and I are definitely kindred spirits because you're overthinking this.
Okay, please know that I'm prepared to crawl, to walk, to run. I'm not trying to put things
That
ahead of
sounds good.
order, but I do have a longer term view as to where I'd like to go. But I'm delighted to be here to learn, and thank you for answering my question.
So by the way, you have a partner that's liquid for hundreds of millions of dollars and has hundreds of houses. Do you know why?
Tell me, please.
Because you're partners with me and I'm partners with Pace.
Oh yeah, baby.
I mean that, guys. Like, you know, this credibility thing, it's important, but don't overthink it. You know, you're on the phone. Hey, look, I got a serious, my partner's a serious buyer in Tennessee. I'm more than happy to get you connected. And once you guys connect, he will provide you with company information. Boom, you're done.
Yes, sir.
I'm so proud of you, Patrick, because now you know when you're overthinking.
Yeah,
He used
exactly.
to do it all the time, but now he catches himself.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
I had to beat him about the head a lot of times to get him to stop that.
Guys, in the chat, how many of you have been stopped by something like that, where you're like, oh, I don't have the credibility, I can't do it? Like, in the chat, say yes. How many of you guys have stopped yourself because of something like that? Exactly. Look at how many people, Rez. Right? So you're not alone. And I say that because what are we doing? What group are we in? We're in Pace's creative finance group. Creative. You have to think creatively. Here's what I say to my team members and people that I'm teaching. As long as you hold the intention in your heart to help people, you are always doing the right thing. As long as you hold the intention in your heart of helping people, you are always doing the right thing. So if you operate from that space, you don't need credibility. You just need a partner with credibility. Okay?
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for hanging out with us. Another driver here. I hope everyone's safe while they're in our Zooms. Rosemary, what's up?
Hi, Patrick.
Hey.
Sorry, I just got back in the car again to
That's okay. You got to do what you got to do.
I am brand new. Okay, I got on a little bit late because I was transporting a child somewhere, and now we're back in the car again. I haven't got a clue as to how to start, what to do, where to go, what to look at. I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Okay.
Like Rez, my ultimate goal is multifamily as well.
Sure.
But I'm not afraid to start off where I need to start off to learn what I need to learn. And I am excited that you guys are so willing to teach. I don't even have an LLC yet. That's how new I am. I'm just trying to figure out the little bits and pieces I need to get to where I need to be. And sorry, I'm not looking at the screen, but I'm driving across the street right now.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to know was, where can I go to find the step-by-step instructions I need to learn what I need to learn in sequential order, and drop questions when I need to drop questions?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what I would do is I would start with, guys, please don't send me direct messages. Just share it with the group if you have something to say, because I'm not gonna see them. I'm gonna just give you this link. Watch this video after this this Zoom. It will help you, and this gives you an idea about how to wholesale on market deals. That's how you're gonna get the most experience possible in the shortest amount of time. Okay, so watch that video. The second thing is, we're gonna go through that here. So shortly after we answer a few of these questions, we're gonna kind of dive into creative. And so really you have wholesale cash deals and wholesale creative deals. So that's where I would start. The other thing I would say is, don't worry about an LLC now. What I just said was, right, partner with somebody like me or somebody on your level, which you should do, who has an LLC. Hey, let's take this down together. Let's call each other. Let's jump on a Zoom every week. Let's keep each other accountable. Let's keep each other on track and motivated. What's your progress been looking like? Find somebody in your area. Be the squeaky wheel. Do you know how I met Gary? Saying, hey, I'm doing deals over here. Hey, I'm doing deals over here. And finally, Gary's like, who is this guy? And we got on a Zoom. And Gary was crazy enough to become my friend. I don't know why he did it.
Okay, I gotta find
Right.
I
somebody. in
saw
the community.
something in you. I saw something there.
I love it.
He's got the vision. All right.
You're
That's
in the
awesome.
right place. Find some people to squad up with him. We're gonna go through it real quick. All right, Cindy. Oh my goodness, I know this one. What's up, girl?
I have a quick question for you guys. I ran in here to ask you this. So 2 questions because I want to be ethical. So I had been working, well, not really working with them, but there was a list that Mike and Don gave. And in that list, I started calling realtors and started developing relationships, right? So I decided to move over here because you guys are a little different and I think it works better for me. The realtor just emailed me something and I don't understand this. So he's an investor on Investor Marketplace. He sent me a charming cottage fixer in Burbank. And I don't know, you had given me a criteria 2 seconds ago, and now I don't know how to look this up. Because
No, I
it-
just closed on a property in Burbank, actually.
okay, so he just gave me, what do when it says view full address, I can't do it because I'm not an investor. Price is 945, ARV 1.3, gross margin 355, single family home. But you need, obviously you need 0.13 acres, 1940. What's the next step here? How do I
So
get you
they
the
want-
information?
It sounds like they want cash. They want to cash out, right? This is a cash wholesale deal. Is that what you're
It
saying?
looks like it's gonna be, it looks like it. It looks like it's gonna be a flip, I guess.
Most flips are cash deals.
Okay.
Yeah. So the asking price is what?
I'm gonna watch the video when I get off this, but go ahead,
What's-
Gary.
What's the
vid-
ARV?
Which video did you post, Patrick?
The one that of us last week hanging out
Oh.
and being badasses.
He just posted for the woman that was just on there, like step by step, right? Because I'm starting
Yeah.
over again and I'm kind of like all over the place. So I want to be very good at this. So I want to cultivate these relationships with these real estate agents, right?
Okay, Cindy,
So-
what's
yeah.
what's the asking price?
Okay, 945,000,
Okay, what's the ARV?
1.3.
Oops. It's very, very high.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to come down on price.
Okay.
You're
and it's-
currently at
Is
72%.
this on market?
so
Is it
I'm
on-
so
Is it on market, the property?
I can't tell because he sent me a link on Investor Marketplace. So I
Is it
can't
Oh, investor
So-
left.
Okay.
Investor Lift, right? And it's a charming.
Oh, okay, it's a
cottage
wholesale
fixer.
deal.
Okay,
If it's
wholesale
on
deal.
investor left, then somebody's already got it under contract, some wholesaler.
okay.
So here's what you want to say. When you have somebody bring you a deal, you want to ask this. Is this under contract?
Okay.
Now, if it is, I mean, it's not for me. I'm not going to deal with it. You know, you might be able to double close it, but if it's already locked up by a wholesaler, I would say 9.9 times out of 10, it is not a deal. So I wouldn't even look at it.
And it's
Okay.
on an agent's out shopping it.
Yep.
Okay.
But,
And it sounds like he's a daisy chainer and it's not his listing.
right,
the other
but
question you wanna-
That's the next important thing to talk about. Explain daisy chaining, Patrick.
So yeah, before I do, is this your listing? That's what I would
Okay.
ask. Because then they have, you know, they're in communication with the seller, and that's fine. You can work with an agent if that's okay. So daisy chaining, guys, what that is basically it's where when you are taking somebody else's deal and you are marketing it, generally not on their behalf. You're just trying to find a buyer for it and then somehow link that buyer to
Okay. Got it. Okay.
and you don't have what's called equitable interest in that property. So
Okay.
you don't, number one, it's not really ethical. And number two, it's just not a great way to do business, guys. Like if it were me, I would spend most of my time just trying to source my own deals. But so this month alone, and there's a professional way to do it, and it's called joint venture. And I'm going to actually make another video about it. Maybe we can actually bring on my partner at some point in time. But this month alone, he's brought in $32,000 of revenue, and I've done zero work. The only thing I've done was signed 2 contracts. And these are joint venture contracts where we have such strong disposition program where we can take properties and find buyers for them, and we vet buyers, and we have a very streamlined process where people are willing to pay us for that. right? So that's the kind of thing you want to do with those situations where you say, well, look, I'm not the buyer for it, but in 48 hours, I can find one because this is my track record and this is what we've done. And so if you're willing to give me whatever, 70%, 60% of your deal, I'll find a buyer for you. Right. So in a lot of cases, that works for the investors that we're working with.
Okay, I'm gonna put myself back on mute. I just wanted to ask you that question. Thank
Yeah,
you.
no problem. Thanks for bringing it to us. And by the way, so if you get a list from somebody and they've skip traced it and you want to bring it to us, that's fine. But
No,
you
no,
got-
I'm not using one of their deals. It was
Okay.
just a realtor that called me back. That's what I was saying. I would never do that.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. That's your
That's totally
relationship.
unethical. I wouldn't do that, but I'm just
Yeah,
saying, I was,
You're the okay. Thank you for the clarity. You're the one who built the relationship. That's fine.
oh, yeah, it was something else. They didn't have anything at the time. And I just said, would you keep in contact with me? I work with investors. So I just wanted to verify that wouldn't be a problem. I don't think it is.
No,
Okay.
not at all. You're all good, girl. Thanks for hanging out with us. All right, guys. No more
Hey,
questions.
Kayla.
Cool. Oh wait, we have a question.
Kayla, yeah, I
Oh,
just.
I'm sorry, Kayla.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I need a JV partner or somebody to partner up with because I found 2 deals and I lost out on one. I didn't have the contracts going and I asked for a gator helper and I don't know if he cut me out of the deal or if he got it at a different price. And then I don't know how to do the contracts and the contracts aren't downloading
Okay.
from the links.
Contracts.
So
Okay,
I don't know.
The,
If there's-
they're in the resources in Circle.
I'm using Zillow.
Okay. Okay. Cool. I didn't realize there were contracts inside of Circle.
Yeah.
Let's start here. Where's your deal?
Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
South Dakota. Okay, great. And then so are you the one in contact with the seller? Is this seller direct to seller or direct to agent?
Agent.
Got it. Okay. So the agent should be handling the paperwork for you then.
Okay.
Just tell
So do
them
I need
that-
to forward the contract that Pace has?
No, you don't need to if there's an agent involved. So I don't know South Dakota, I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
But what
Okay.
you want to do is you want to ask the agent, can you represent me on this opportunity?
Okay.
Now, is this a cash wholesale deal or is this a creative deal?
I'm doing wholesale with a gator for EMD money.
Okay, so this is so you're paying cash and then you're gonna find a buyer to flip it, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what I would recommend that you do. I don't know. Do you know how South Dakota works with cancellations, Gary?
No,
Okay, so neither of us do. But
Okay.
before you do anything with money, you make sure that you find out can you unilaterally cancel within your inspection window? I'm going to say this again. Write this down. This is important. It's going to save you a lot of money, heartache, and stress.
Yeah.
Can I unilaterally cancel in my inspection window? If you can, then you may want to consider funding the deal. If not, then I would not fund the deal. I would immediately find somebody who has buyers in South Dakota and work with them on finding a buyer. Gary, do we have any
Okay.
real estate leaders in South Dakota?
yeah, I mean, there are substitutes in South Dakota, North Dakota, in every state of the country, but I don't know who they are specifically.
Do you know what the asking price in the ARV is?
Well, I lost out on the deal, but on both deals that I was doing, but one deal was a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,700 square feet, and it was 143 asking price, and it needed like medium rehab.
I just
Not too
need,
bad.
yeah, so basically
Just like,
the only two numbers
yeah.
I need are asking and retail.
okay, and then I
What's
think
the
it would
ask-
retail. I think
Okay.
the retail price was around 200 or 180. So
That's a huge gap in price. So
Yeah,
with that price
I-
point, you need to know your exact number.
yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm having a trouble with Zillow, because
Yep.
I can't find as many properties on there to compare to.
I see. Yeah, so the programs that I recommend are Privy and PropStream.
Okay.
And then I actually prefer Redfin when it comes to comping. I think that's just my preference.
Okay.
But we actually use multiple sources when it comes to comping.
Okay.
So I'm not a huge fan of, you know, God, I don't want to phrase this wrong because gator lending is such a big thing in this community. I'm not a huge fan of funding or lending, excuse me, borrowing EMD unless it's completely necessary.
Yeah, I don't have any money.
Well, you don't need, so look, this is how many deals we fund in our group.
Okay.
We made 6 figures last quarter. We're on track for probably, well, I don't want to jinx it, but my point is that we don't fund any deals because we don't need to, because we have buyers ready to go. Right. So
Okay.
what I would do instead of spending and this is just my opinion, right? This is just how we operate. This is my opinion. I would spend more time instead of trying to find gators to work with, find somebody to disposition those properties for you and work with those people. Find
Okay.
somebody who has those buyers, or find your buyers yourself. Right. So,
Okay.
but that's what I would do. The quickest way to do that is to find somebody who can disposition properties well. That's what I first did when I first started. I didn't have dispo down. I was just opportunities. That's all I focused on. And then when I had one, then it was like, find somebody who can sell it. You know what I mean? And then we spent a lot of time on disposition. But anyways, does that help?
Yeah, disposition is just
Finding a buyer.
finding the buyers.
That's it.
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully I can find somebody that I can use for an accountability partner and somebody who can JV with me, because I really don't know what I'm doing. I just jumped right in and started finding properties.
Yeah, good for you. Look, keep taking
Taking
action.
action is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good for you. Kayla, I didn't know what I was doing a year ago. Keep going, girl.
Yeah. Okay.
Keep going.
All right, I want to, did we answer your questions, Kayla?
Yeah.
Great.
We got one more for CJ here. He's been patient. Let's get
Oh,
his
one
done.
more thing.
Hold on a second. I just want to show everybody something because more than one person has commented on this. So here, over here are I'm in circle here. Here, back to docs. Okay, so there's, come on, go away. Wholesale friendly JV assignment contracts and Gator wholesale contract, Gator friendly. All right, my wholesale contract, no problem, comes right up. So I don't understand why people are having a problem here. And then you see this is a PDF and you can download it. Depending on how your system works, whether you're on Apple or Microsoft, it may be different, but this is where you find these.
Yep. But if you're going direct to agent, they should be able to. And again, I don't know. You might want to have a conversation with an agent. Just be honest. Hey, look, I'm new to real estate investing. I have a friend in California who invests that said that their agents over there can represent them on both sides. Do they do that in this state? And just be open about it and ask if that's a possibility. Okay.
Yeah, if you're working with an agent, chances are they're going to want to use the state contracts because they have to.
Yeah, exactly. CJ, what's up, dude?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How's it going?
How's it going?
Everything's good. I've been doing a lot of calls lately. I recently got lucky on this $1.3 million property in Washington, D.C. And I got the seller to kind of agree to like some terms, but he won't allow me to get it under contract until I have a legit buyer. He already knows that I'm trying to assign it. He's willing to work with me, but I just need a buyer. And so I didn't know how to go about getting it in front of more people.
So 1.3 million in Washington, D.C., is that a 2-car garage that you're buying?
I don't think so, no.
No, it's expensive in the good neighborhoods.
It's pricey, man. Yeah. Funny enough, so I spoke with Angie Milanazzo. She ended up connecting me with Dylan Eggers. I got his number and he started to help me out underwrite it. And he helped me understand that so I was initially promoting it with potential Airbnb exit, but he was saying, so it's not much margin for an Airbnb, but it's actually pretty good if you turn around and wrap it or do a sandwich lease. So now I'm just trying to backtrack and get it in front of some people to see maybe if there's a way to lock it up, get it in front of a buyer.
Okay.
When people say, oh, it works as a wrap, that it's always the exit strategy of last resort. And I'm not keen on the idea of beginners doing wraps.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't even want to do them because I don't have that level of liquidity myself that to
Mm,
back up when you hand it to the buyer and they stop paying. What are you going to do?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, you can also assign a wrap. So this comes back down to, do you know your buyer, right? And so usually when there's higher price points, there's higher PITI. For those of you who are new, principal, insurance, taxes, you're basically your mortgage payment. Then you're usually looking at an in buyer, like an actual homestead buyer.
Yeah, exactly.
So finding somebody like that would be beneficial to you. I don't work in the area, but we could find somebody. But yeah, you might want to just find an in buyer, and you can either assign that the rights to the terms, or you can actually assign the wrap, and then you could have that investor assign it to an in buyer at the end of the day. The other thing I would mention is that so wraps aren't always the best exit strategy depending upon the state, because some states like California, for example, the eviction process can be quite expensive because it's a very tenant friendly state, right?
Okay.
Now in Texas, it's a different story. They'll get you out in 45 days, right?
Yeah.
So that's like a wrap state, right? Because it's not as expensive as your risk tolerance is lower, in other words. Does that make sense? So I don't really know the state, to be honest with you, but I would figure that out just so you know what you're dealing with, if that's going to be your market. And then, yeah, I would, ask around if you've got people who are looking for that type of thing. Soft pitch it inside of the creative group, maybe
I did, and I got a few people interested. Believe it or not, along with a couple of end buyers reaching out, there were maybe 1 to 2, maybe 1 to 3 people that actually wanted to live. They were considering a place to move in and actually live in. And so I thought to myself, yeah, I mean, this makes sense. This is a good opportunity for a person that wants to actually live in it too, outside of something investing.
100%. Yeah, I'm
And-
looking for something similar to that. Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, I would call that hotel.
Hotel, yeah, yeah.
Hotel.
Mhm.
There's nothing wrong with that. Getting an end buyer, it doesn't have to be if it's not a fix and flip, and you can get in
Yep.
there and wholesale or hotel it. Good for you. That works.
One
But
thing I was
highlight
the owner's pretty savvy to know that he's not going to let you have a contract unless you bring a buyer.
Yeah, he owns a lot of property already, which is
Yeah.
why that's part of the reason he was willing to work with me. He knew what I was trying to do. He was like, well, if you could actually pull it off, let's do it.
All right.
And
Well,
I'm so
yeah,
glad that you brought
love
that up,
it.
because I said it earlier, guys, if you have the intention of helping people, you're gonna get to the finish line. And so, normally, that might not work, but I think that's very cool that he's willing to work with you. So
Yeah.
did we answer your question? I feel like
Yeah, that's pretty much
Okay.
it. Just gotta reach out a little bit more and present it as potential hotel, you said.
Yeah, or you can wrap it. I mean, you either need a homestead buyer, or you need an investor that's experienced in that area, that has the risk tolerance, given the state's, requirements to wrap it. So those
Okay.
are your options, in my opinion, from the conversation we're having.
Okay. Lastly, I guess, in connection to that, how do I get in front of like homestead buyers, like people that actually want to live in it? How do I get in front of that audience?
Is this off market or on market?
It's on market, and I'm direct to seller and agent. Like I said, it was kind of an accident. I called out of curiosity just to ask them what terms would they be open to, because in the overview in Zillow, they said that they were open to seller financing, believe it or not. And so when I called the agent, she said, "Oh, well, this sounds good. Let me put you on three-way with the seller." And so I ended up getting on a call within like a couple minutes, speaking to the agent and the seller. And yeah, I was surprised. I didn't expect to even be entertained. But once I start throwing some numbers out and I start calculating the math from what the little I do know,
Mhm.
yeah, it worked out for
So
me.
are you in the area? Are you working virtually?
I'm in the area.
I would go to some REI meetups, man.
Yeah, okay.
I just went to one last night in Sacramento, which is like 2.5 hours away from me. And I
Okay.
met the biggest developer in Sacramento, and I've got him on my cell phone now.
Gotcha.
You
Okay.
never know who you're gonna meet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, go out to some REI meetups. and put that on your calendar like this week or next, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And,
for sure.
start asking around like, hey, I got this potential contract. I'm still negotiating it. I can share with you all of the specs. I just can't share the address with you.
Yeah.
And then see who bites.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Cool,
what
man.
I
Good work.
appreciate.
Good
It.
work.
Thank you.
Taking action. I love it.
Thank you. Go back.
I think we have one more question. This has turned into a really long Q&A. All right, Veronica, what's up?
Why is it not letting me spotlight all this?
What's up, girl? You've been
Hi,
blowing up my cell
Patrick.
phone.
So I'm bringing up that property that I was talking to you about. I want to make an offer. I think I told you the owner is a 91-year-old tired landlord. I did reach back out to the agent, and he said that he is not entertaining any creative finance deals. He's already sold all his properties off. This is the last one left. So it is listed for $850.
Can I
The
hold on one sec.
comps that I found.
Give me one
was
sec. I want to
$925. I'm sorry.
Veronica, give me one sec. I just want to say one thing, guys.
Sure.
So when you guys are pitching creative, because you're going to get this a lot, you need to know how to respond to no. Okay? Because no doesn't mean no. No can mean a lot of things. Okay? So when I hear no, what I typically will say is, specifically when it's an agent, I will say this. Because what's an agent's job? An agent's job, Gary, what's an agent's job? I want to hear in your words.
To actually service their client, our agents have to do what their clients want them to do, but ultimately it's to help them buy or sell their property. Depends on whether you're representing the buyer or the seller, of course.
Yeah. And sometimes we don't know what people are going to say.
Do what your client wants you to do.
Yeah. Have you guys ever had like a family member, like somebody you're really close to, and you have to ask them a question and you think you know how they're going to respond, and then you ask them a question and they respond completely different than what was in your mind? So sometimes agents think they know what their sellers want, but they don't really know. So here's what I typically say to know. Hey, John, I'm just calling about your property on 123 Main Street. This looks great. I go through my spiel. I'm looking for properties like this that are low equity, that I can assume the loan. Is that something that your seller is open to? Oh, no, they're not. Oh, so you've had this discussion with them before? So you've had this discussion with them before. And a lot of the time they're going to be like, no, but, oh, okay. So I'm just curious. And I always play dumb, guys. I always play like, I don't, I'm sorry, I'm a little slow. Let me see if I can get more information. Oh, okay. So you haven't spoken to them about this before. Got it. Well, the reason that I ask, John, is that I would be willing to give your seller their asking price or possibly more. And then I pause and I let that sit in the air for a moment. Why? Because every single person besides me that has called them has tried to work them on price. And I'm the first person to say, I've got your asking price right here or more. And so from there, they're going to shut you down immediately. And you're going to know that this is probably an agent that I can't work with, or they're going to inquire about more. Right. And usually what I'll say is, well, the reason that I asked John is I'm willing to give your seller their asking price or more plus pay your commission. And I let that sit. And then I go into it. And usually they go, well, what do you mean by you want terms? And then I'll use a third party story. Well, I just closed on a property in that neighborhood. And what I did for them was seller had no equity. I gave them 10 grand. I paid their commissions, all closing costs, and I assumed their loan. Is that something that you might be open to discussing? Okay, great. I'm not looking for a yes or a no or a maybe. All I'm looking for is, can we continue this conversation? Because I'd love for you to pick up my phone call when you see my name on your caller ID. Cool. So not to say that this isn't, I just wanted to mention that, Veronica, for the group. And so that you have that as a tool when you're in these conversations. Okay. So sorry to interrupt you. You had some numbers. Let me hear them.
That's okay. So yeah, I got two comps. One is for $925, and that one sold recently within the last 3 months. And the other one sold December 22nd of 22.
Not a comp.
For $875.
That's not a comp. It's too far out.
Yeah.
Are you having trouble finding comps in this area?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah. But Redfin is saying that, I mean, like, one of them is 925 and it sold May 4th of 23. So again, within the last few months, right? The sold price was 925, and then the estimated value according to Redfin is 951 to 1 million.
What's their asking price?
This one was the sold one. So the asking price for the one I'm looking at is 850.
Okay.
And it needs to be, it's a major repair. It has to have all the things repaired on it.
All of the things. I love that. That's very descriptive. It needs all of the things. Okay, let me ask you some numbers. Let's go into
Yeah.
this real quick. So comp 925. Asking is 950. So if we 850.
Mhm.
So if we take this number and we divide it by that number, that's going to give us our percentage of ARV, right? Now, where do we typically need to be with our percentage of ARV if it's going to be a flip? Do you remember, Veronica?
Was that 10%?
Well, where do we need to buy at if we're going to be flipping this property?
Oh, 70%.
Yeah, anywhere from 60 to 70%. And this is just a general rule of thumb, guys. This isn't like a hard and fast. It's all relative, right? But if we divide this number, this number by this number, we're coming up with 91%.
Mhm.
How is that a deal?
It's not.
It's definitely
I was
not.
going to offer less.
You
I was
definitely
gonna put
should.
that offer and just see what happens.
A lot.
I-
And if it needs everything, it could be a lot less.
Right. So I was just going to put it in, put in the offer and see what happens.
I love it. Okay, what's the square footage?
1,400
So
Where-
let's just say we're going to take that.
Where is this located?
in San Jose. It's a duplex.
So we're going to take, is it occupied?
It is occupied.
Okay, how are we going to flip it if there's tenants involved?
Well,
they
they
gonna-
are month to
vacant?
month.
Say again?
They're month to month. So
But if you buy the property now, that's your burden, not theirs.
Month to month doesn't mean you can get them to leave tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. So what's the, is this delivered vacant? Yes or no?
no.
Okay, then it's not a cash deal.
Okay.
Unless they want to do cash for keys. This is California, baby. You're in a whole new world of hurt if you got tenants. They're going to make you regret buying that property. Right? So
Yeah.
we need basically cash for keys, which is fine. We can negotiate that. And you also need to get real with the landlord. Look, or not the landlord, the agent. I'm trying to flip this thing. How am I going to do that with bodies in the building? I'm willing to come out of pocket for cash for keys and the deposit if I need to, but I need this to be where our number is. So this is an unrealistic ask in my opinion, especially if it's duplex, which is why they should be open to creative.
Yeah, he said that he got creative offers on his past properties and the owner shot him down. He's ill. He's 91 and he's ill. So there's no benefit with him is what he said.
Well, that's because he has a closed mind. I've
Yeah.
closed creative deals with trusts.
Mhm.
You got to help them see that, right? And so, maybe it's a hard sell. Maybe the agent's going to stand directly in your way and just stonewall you, but this isn't a cash deal. Realistically, assuming that your numbers are correct, if this really needs everything, let's just underwrite this real quick. So if we're at this 925, right?
Mhm.
So I want to make 10% on the deal. And then I've got about 7% of, agent fees, commissions, fees, holding, closing, so on and so forth, right? So this 17% comes out of my 100% ARV, which gives us 83%. So I'm going to take this 925 comp. Is this a retail ready comp, by the way? You know what? Don't answer that. I don't care. I'm going to take that 925 and I'm going to times it by 83% or 0.83. So without even touching reno, right? 925 times 83. We are at 767, 750 minus reno, which is going to be this here.
How many bathrooms? How many? 2 kitchens?
Yeah, it's 2 bedrooms, 1 bath per side. And yeah, 2 kitchens,
2 kitchens,
bathrooms,
bathrooms,
4 bedrooms.
2 air conditioning systems, maybe.
Yeah, he said it needs air conditioner, it needs a wall heater.
They're out of their
He said
mind.
the roof is in good shape, is about it.
They're out of their minds. So we've got 1,400 square feet, and we're just going to go very like thin on these reno numbers, which, so this $60 a square foot times a 1,400 square foot footprint comes out to 84. Oops, I don't want to do that. Let me get my pin back.
84.
So it's 84.
Mhm.
Okay. So we've got this 767 minus 84K.
767, 750.
Right, I'm just gonna be
Right.
super conservative here. Is 683 minus 3 points, your assignment fee, 3%. So on this, we're probably gonna make, 20K. So let's just say 20K. So your MAO is 640, no,
663.
663 is your MAO.
Yeah, that's kind of what I had, 650.
Which is probably not low enough, to be honest. Right, so
It's probably not high enough for the 91-year-old guy.
Yeah,
so you were 187K under ask.
that's a lot.
It is a very much lot. That's proper English.
Mhm.
So yeah, it doesn't work.
Well, thanks for going through that with me. That's what I wanted to look at is, how to look at this. And then let's say it was a deal, then what would my next step be? Just send my offer to the realtor?
Yep. On that, let me see if I can find it. Where the hell is it? It was on our last video.
Oh, I have it then.
Yeah, go to my YouTube channel. There's this little thing here. This is basically step-by-step process.
Okay.
But yeah, I would just email them and say this is my offer terms. They're gonna need your entity or your LLC name, proof of funds. And if you don't have that, you just loop somebody like me into the deal, and then I'll sign a JV agreement with you.
Okay. All
Cool.
right. Well, I'll
Good.
keep plugging at it. Thank you.
Good for you. Good work.
All right,
Thanks.
so we have a hand up and some questions in the chat. Lola has her hand up, so we'll go to her first. Why is that not doing it? It's doing it again.
Lola, can you hear us?
Unmute.
She's got her hand up, but is she taking a nap? Did she accidentally press the hand on accident? That's the question. All right, we'll come back to Lola. Sharon.
Hey guys,
Hello.
I'll take this opportunity to talk.
Love
I was actually in Florida visiting family, and I thought I'm in Georgia, sorry. And so I saw these beautiful houses. We were in Atlantic Beach, which is close to Jacksonville Beach. And I decided I was going to make some calls to realtors. That's my thing. I'm a realtor. I said that's best for me to call realtors. I feel like I'm more comfortable doing that. And I totally felt like I was out of my element because the people I was calling, the realtors, basically their sellers were not motivated. They had all the money in the world, it seemed like. And although the realtors were very nice, I was pitching the creative, and this was all new to me. I'm a baby elephant. And I felt like what you just said, your speech, or your speech, your script, I guess. I felt like I had, if I had that, I would have felt more equipped, but not that I felt like I was rambling, but when when they said they weren't motivated to sell, I didn't really know where to go.
The agent said they weren't motivated to sell.
Right. They
That's
said
the last person you want to
like,
hear say that.
Well, you always wonder, my question is, well, why do you take the listing?
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
I can tell you, one of them said
If you
they,
don't have a motivated seller, why do you take a listing?
they literally said they had another property that just sat there for 3 years because they weren't getting what they want. And another one said, I am also an investor and I'm part of the property owner, and I don't really want to do seller financing. I'm not getting, they just weren't motivated. They're telling me this.
Cool. Can I ask you what listings, what kind of listings were you calling on?
What kind? They were near the beach.
Let me be more specific. How many days on market were they?
I didn't call anybody that hadn't been listed more than 100 days.
Perfect.
So,
okay. And then were these free and clear? Did they have a note?
that was one of my questions first. Do they own it free and clear? And at least 2 of them did. I asked all kinds of questions.
Yeah. So in my experience, seller finance can be pretty tough to negotiate. And in what I typically say is, and this is what I say with agents too, I literally use this phrase. I say, I understand that that's not always a fit for a seller and it has to be a perfect storm. That's the phrase that I use, a perfect storm. It's usually a shit storm, right? Like they have a situation that they're just done with the property. Maybe they just evicted some tenants and they're just like, oh, they're done with it, right? Seller finance deal that I closed, one of them that comes to mind is where the owner had a son in the property, and it was his son and this wife, and they were getting a divorce. So it just made sense. They wanted to be done with the property. Now, if you have a seller who has a portfolio and they've got tons of cash on hand and there's just really no motivation there, then yeah, they're not motivated to sell. They're waiting for a unicorn. And I'll even say that. Maybe I have good rapport with the agent on the phone. Maybe we're joking and laughing.
Yeah.
And I'll say, so just, give it to me straight. Is your seller looking for a unicorn to come across the field, or what's going on? And they'll be like, yeah, they're looking for a unicorn. And I'll be like, okay, well, that's not me, and move on. And hey, let me know. Look, I had a really good time talking to you, John, on the phone. I want to stay in contact with you. This is what I'm looking for. I've got a $7 million fund just in this state alone. And we typically come into these arrangements at about a 10% entry fee to value, which means I have the capacity to spend about $70 million in this state. I'm a pretty good contact to have on your phone, John. Right.
Wow.
And then you move on. So it's not that you personally are probably doing anything wrong. It's just the fact that you have to understand your target that you're aiming at and being able to qualify them quickly and triage your time. Does that all make sense?
I probably didn't go, well, obviously I didn't go at it the right way. I had one person that really just didn't want to deal with her Airbnb, and she had equity that she didn't want to lose. I didn't really know how to pitch it. I talked to several different people and I had good conversations with all of them, really. And even got to the point where, if you have anything else, let me know, that kind of thing. But the one that had an Airbnb, she just had a lot of equity in it, and it was over $1 million. but like I said, they're all beach, beach houses. So
Mhm.
she just, doesn't really want to deal with it anymore. She had good tenants, was doing Airbnb, and she just doesn't want to deal with the rentals and things like
Tired landlord. We call that the tired landlord.
tired landlord. Exactly.
That's usually a motivated seller.
Yeah. I mean, she wasn't the unmotivated seller. I just I didn't
here's
really know what to do with her.
Well, here's what I would say is, can you fit your terms into this box? And if it's yes, then you negotiate it. So remember, we're trying to get cash flow here. So what does that cash flow look like? Airbnb, to me, when I see, like, I'm always looking at long-term rental rates first. Does it cash flow? Does it break even? If I'm losing money in the first year and second year and third year, I don't care what it brings in as a Airbnb. As if it's losing money as a long-term rental, because you never know where the Airbnb market's going to go. Right. So this again goes back down to your target. What kind of properties would cash flow as a long-term rental in that area? Why are we looking at beachfront properties? Right. Maybe that's not the right target. Maybe it is. But if it is, then can we fit it into this box? So if she has equity, that's fine. Do you know the numbers, by the way? Do you remember offhand?
The list price, I could tell you.
Just like the equity, the list price, all that.
No, she offered to send me what she was doing with the rental history, but the list price was $1,049,000. But none of the houses really needed any work done because they were already either rentals or someone was living in them. But this particular one that was the Airbnb was, $1,049,000, and we didn't get into how much equity she had. But they were very, I mean, she was very open. I could probably call her back. It was her sister that just moved in with her boyfriend and didn't want to deal with it. The tired landlord. She didn't want to deal with their property anymore.
So 5% down, carry whatever equity they have at 3%, assume the note sub 2, balloon in 15 years. That's one term that you could do, right? But then you got to look at that and go, does this cash flow as a long-term rental? And I could probably tell you it doesn't.
You still need to run the numbers.
Yep. But that's an example of how you could do it. But I would focus on like liquidity, right? Like, are you going to have a hard time selling this deal? You go to all this work and then you're like, oh shit, now what do I do? Right? Like, where's my buyer? So for me, I mean, I'm like looking for my own properties, but I want flexibility. I want liquidity. So I'm not looking at special properties. I don't get distracted by sexy things in real estate. Not anymore, at least.
I will just come back to Georgia and start.
Yeah, hit me up. Sharon, hit me up because I have an equity partner in Atlanta and I'm trying to acquire more property in that area. And if you're open to making money and knocking on some doors for me, I'd love to work with you.
All righty.
Yeah, I'm serious. Hit me up in Circle.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
cool.
you.
Yeah, of course. Is Lola still taking a nap?
Well, I just want to,
Right.
are you unmuted this time, Lola? We're going to bring you.
I am.
Hey, Lola, what's up?
Hey, how are you guys?
Fantastic. How are you?
Awesome. I am spectacular, actually. And I'm
Love that.
so glad. Yes. I'm so glad that I was able to get on and talk to you real quick. Here's what I've got going on. I have a 5-3 in Covington, Georgia. It is a beautiful house, motivated seller. It's with an agent who I spoke with. I explained, sub 2. She was sort of familiar with the concept of creative finance, but didn't know much. I spoke to her and explained what sub 2 was. And I told her, you know, if she wanted to talk to the seller, she
Lola,
told me they aren't interested and they would like to talk.
Hey
I'm
Lola.
breaking it.
Yeah, are you
Is
like
that what
moving
you said?
around outside or something?
Son of a gun. Okay. Yeah, so are you able to hear me better now?
I got you now. That's a little bit better. Whatever you did worked. Oh, did
Okay,
we?
awesome.
I know she's here. Okay, hi. Go ahead.
Hi.
I'm trying to
So
spotlight her, but it's not letting me.
you're not able to hear me?
No, we got you. Go ahead. I'm actually buying in that area, by the way. Go ahead. Finish your story.
Oh, okay, great. So I found out from the agent, I know the PITI is 1806.
Okay.
The interest rate is 3.25.
Perfect.
The sellers have accepted a price of C5 on the house. But that seller fell through because they had an offer on another house and they ended up withdrawing their offer and buying the other house.
Okay. Okay. What's your question? Oh man,
Cutting in and out.
I'm writing
You
on
asked
that.
me to start my video?
Well, it's not.
I'm in the car, so
No, that's the
I
problem.
had my video off. No, it's okay.
That's-
I don't know what I did now. Yeah, so it's just kind of hard to see me.
Lola, your
Car.
number is 828-434-9224.
Yes.
Can I call you right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, go ahead and end the Zoom and I'll call you.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Getting fancy, huh? I think it was Nicholas who asked if the agents would have all the paperwork necessary to do a creative deal, and
Nope.
the
Not unless
answer
you're Gary.
is highly, highly, highly unlikely unless you bump into somebody like me. But
Agreed.
very
All right, I'm gonna
few
mute you so I can
people
talk to her. Actually, I'll keep you on.
What are you talking about? You get Lola?
I'm just gonna call her.
Yeah, I was
Yep.
trying to address Nicholas's question.
Hey, technology can be fun. I got you loud and clear now.
Good, I'm so glad.
Okay, so tell me a little bit. You said that.
Phone service.
Oh man, and they're probably making a fortune off you too.
Maybe I just got a new phone and switched. I just have to get it activated. Like I just have to get the phone number switched over, so I'll be good here shortly.
No worries. So,
I'm excited. I got
let me ask you. You said the PITI was 800, 1800?
yes,
Okay, and then three and a quarter.
yes,
Awesome. Okay, and the agent was open to it.
yes.
Love it. Okay, cool. What are you trying to make on this deal? Well, we have a elephant. Go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
Well, are you trying to assign this or are you trying to keep it?
No, I would assign it.
Okay, good. You're speaking my language because I'm trying to gobble up as much property as possible. That was a joke.
Gotcha. Well, I've got someone feeding me properties in Georgia, so I'm your girl for that.
Yes, I will make you lots of money. Okay, great. So what are the next steps? We need to just call this agent.
I set up an appointment for 7:30 for a call. I was traveling from Asheville all the way back into Hudson. So I told her I could call about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and she talked to the buyers, and they were perfect with that.
And that's today?
Yep. Like in a couple minutes.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to end this meeting then. Yeah, I can jump on
Try to
the.
end it at the half hour like we normally do.
Yeah, we'll end at the half hour. Okay, well, you have my program this number in. My last name is Curley, Curlay. I'll text you. And I have an agent who works with my equity partner in that state, and she's more than familiar with the transaction and how to handle it. Okay. Are you still there? Hello? I'm not sure if you muted yourself or if you dropped off.
Not just Zoom.
Okay. I'm gonna call you shortly. All right, I'm about to buy a property in Atlanta. Or not Atlanta, Covington. All right, guys, we are getting very close to being done with this Zoom. Do you guys have any more questions?
Danielle, we do a session now on Monday. Sometimes it's Q&A, sometimes we're doing topical training. It just depends. Sometimes we come ready to do some training, but everybody wants questions answered. So we go with the flow.
Hey, Lola.
Hello?
Hey,
Hey, sorry about that.
no problem. Let me end this meeting and then I'll call you back.
Okay, it
Oh.
doesn't, just, you don't have to end it right this second, because I told her it'd be like 7:30, like that I was aiming for 7:30, and I told her I was in traffic.
Yep.
So I'll be home in about 15 minutes, if that works for you. I can shoot her a text.
Yeah, shoot me a text when you're free and we'll link up.
Okay.
Okay,
Sounds good.
perfect. Thanks. Bye. All right. Let's see. Do we have questions, guys? We didn't really jump into getting into the nitty-gritty of all this, but why don't we do that? What do you think? Monday?
We can.
Well, I'm not going to do it if you're not excited about it, Gary.
Hey, look, I'm just not in an excited state. I've been traveling all freaking day.
Oh, you got
I'm in
jet
the
lag.
hotel room, and I'll just focus on getting the laptop fired up so I can join the meeting. And it's like 30 below zero in this room, because they're used to 80 for a high. It's 115 where I came from. So, 80 to me is comfortable, and this room's probably 60 degrees. They can't wait to go figure out how to turn up the temperature.
iPhone 6. We don't know what your name is, but it says in the comments you have one more thing. Did you want to chat with us, iPhone?
Apple's identity is so much more important than yours.
Go ahead and unmute yourself, iPhone 6, if you want to chat. All right, guys, any other questions? A lot of Q&A today. I feel like we answered a lot of questions.
A lot of questions. Yeah, we usually don't have that many.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Monday, we will go into a little bit more detail about creative, a lot more detail on creative, and kind of, you know what we'll do? I'll make some calls so you can see me on some live calls with some agents and possibly some sellers. So yeah, and then we'll kind of run through maybe a few opportunities in terms of how we underwrite it. And so you can see really the true nuts and bolts of whether or not something cash flows and whether or not it would be a great deal, and to how to assess cash on cash return so you can call yourself an expert investor.
This to the cloud.
I think you recorded it, didn't you?
Oh, it's on auto record. Okay.
Yeah, as soon as you joined it,
I
it said.
don't know what it, but we'll find out.
Nicholas has a question on the side. In a creative deal, would the seller have to pay taxes? Yes, if it's seller finance. That's why I don't amortize seller carryback notes, because it's a pain in the ass for the seller to track those payments of amortization. It also typically won't cash flow. So when an agent asks for amortization, I usually know immediately they don't know creative finance. And so I'll tell them why that's not a great idea.
Seller financing can defer capital gains, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
You guys, your Monday call, I went on the Elephant thing and it only shows Wednesdays. Is there another link for the Monday calls, or do I?
If you look under the accountability groups, you'll see the Herd Up, which is today, our chat channel, and the Deal Machine. Deal Machine is Monday. So we're trying to focus on the anatomy of deals on Mondays.
but I'm also just doing whatever I feel like. And calling it deal
Of
machine.
course you are, Patrick.
Yeah. All right, guys. I love the energy. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And by the way, I had like 50 extra subscribers just the other day to YouTube. So thank you guys so much for that. I appreciate your love and your support. And it motivates me to keep creating amazing content. Oh, which by the way, I'm going to be doing a full Sub2 breakdown of my last Sub2 deal. So if you haven't already subscribed so you can check it out. I'm not going to be doing a Zoom on that. I'm just going to be filming some content on exactly how I found it, how I negotiated it, what the numbers were, and how I was zero out of pocket on that deal. All right, guys. Have an amazing rest of your Wednesday. Gary, enjoy Montana.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear about it.
So far, I've gone from the airport to the room to the Zoom. And now I go from the Zoom to the room to something here. All right, everybody. Thank you. We'll see you on Monday, I hope.
Oh, yeah. I will be there. I can't wait. I love these meetings.
All right.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great Wednesday. We'll see you soon.
Bye.